We're at this incredible moment where artificial intelligence is starting to make literal life or death recommendations in our hospitals. But what happens when we can't ask it why? Today, we're going to pry open that black box and take a look at something called Explainable AI. We'll explore why it's absolutely essential for building our trust in the future of medicine. So let me ask you this. Imagine your doctor comes in and says, hey, an AI recommends this pretty life-altering treatment for you. Your first question, of course, is going to be, why? Now, what if the answer is, well, we don't really know. The computer just said so. Would you trust it? I mean, probably not. And that, right there, is the huge challenge we're facing with AI in medicine.
So that mystery? That's what people in the industry call the AI black box. We built these unbelievably powerful algorithms that can spot patterns a human doctor might miss, which is amazing, but the way they get to their conclusions is often a complete mystery. And in a field like healthcare, where every decision counts, that is a massive, massive problem.
So, to put it simply, a black box AI is basically a system that gives you an answer, a diagnosis, a recommendation, but it doesn't show its work. Think about it. For doctors who are legally and ethically on the hook for your health, and for patients like you and me who need to make informed choices, this complete lack of transparency is a huge barrier. It makes it really hard to trust and adopt this new technology.
Okay, but what if we could actually open that box? What if we could peek inside? Well, this is where a really fascinating and crucial field comes into play. Explainable AI, or XAI for short. It's the direct answer to this whole black box problem, and it's designed specifically to make an AI's thinking process crystal clear to us humans.
The whole point of XAI is to build a bridge between the raw, number-crunching power of an AI and our very human need to understand why. See, it's not just about getting the right answer anymore. It's about understanding how the AI got there. And that's absolutely critical for things like accountability and, just feeling confident in the decision.
XAI is really built on four essential pillars. First, there's interpretability, which just means a doctor can actually understand the AI's logic. Then you have transparency, which lets us see what data it used to make its call. That leads to accountability because now you can review, audit, and even correct any mistakes. And when you put all of that together, you get the final and most important pillar, trustworthiness.
And hey, this isn't just some niche tech idea. A recent paper in the World Journal of Advanced Research and Reviews really hit the nail on the head. It said these principles are absolutely essential if we're going to use AI ethically and effectively, especially when actual lives are on the line.
All right, this all sounds great in theory, doesn't it? But what does it actually look like when the rubber meets the road? Let's dive into how XAI is already showing up in clinics and actually changing how patients are cared for.
The real-world examples are pretty incredible. Take IBM's Watson for Oncology. It doesn't just suggest a treatment plan, it explains why. And its reasoning lines up with human experts over 90% of the time. Then you've got systems like MES Assist and PathAI, which are giving doctors a huge confidence boost by showing them exactly which features in a biopsy or a scan led the AI to its conclusion. It's a total game changer.
So here's a perfect example of the problem. A standard AI might analyze a medical image and just spit out a single terrifying word, malignant. Now, it might be right, but it's not helpful. It's a conclusion with zero context, and it leaves the doctor with way more questions than answers. But now, look at the difference XAI makes. The diagnosis is the same, sure, but now there's a reason attached. The system is telling us why it made that call. It's pointing to specific things like irregular cell structures and even highlighting the exact spot on the image it's looking at. This completely transforms the AI from some kind of mysterious oracle into a genuine diagnostic partner for the doctor.
Okay, so as powerful as this all is, let's be realistic. AI isn't a magic wand. It's not a perfect solution just yet. It comes with its own set of very real challenges and trade-offs that some of the smartest people out there are working hard to solve right now.
And that brings us to the core dilemma, the central puzzle of this whole field. Generally, the most accurate AI models are also the most complex. They're the deepest black boxes. On the other hand, simpler models are way easier to explain, but they might not be quite as powerful or accurate. So, the holy grail of XAI is to figure out how to get the best of both worlds, top-tier accuracy and crystal-clear explanations.
And there are other hurdles too. Sometimes the explanation an AI gives is still super technical and complex for a busy doctor to make sense of quickly. These systems can also be a little fragile. A tiny, insignificant change in the data can sometimes lead to a completely different explanation, which can really shake your confidence. And of course, there's the huge practical challenge of just plugging this cutting-edge tech into old hospital computer systems that were built decades ago.
So getting over these hurdles isn't just a technical problem for engineers to solve in a lab. The only way we're going to get there is with a really thoughtful mix of technology, smart regulations, and a solid ethical foundation to make sure this powerful AI is developed responsibly.
And the good news is, there's already a global movement demanding this kind of transparency. In Europe, the GDPR established a right to an explanation. The new EU AI Act insists on traceability for high-risk systems. Here in the US, the FDA is all about transparency and validation for medical AI. We even have a new international standard, ISO 42001, that puts explainability right at the center of things.
And looking ahead, the future of XAI research is just incredibly exciting. We're seeing new hybrid models that blend different techniques to give much richer explanations. People are using large language models, the tech behind things like ChatGPT, to write simple, plain English reports. They're even figuring out ways to train AI on sensitive patient data without ever compromising privacy, and creating explanations that are personalized to your unique health profile.
So, we'll leave you with this question to think about. As these AI systems get woven more and more into our healthcare, becoming real partners in our well-being, the big question is this: how do we make sure the conversation is always a two-way street? How do we guarantee that we can always ask why and get a real, meaningful answer back? That right there is both the incredible promise and the steep challenge of explainable AI.